The other topic I want to get to here is what adjustments will Steve make? What adjustments should Steve make?
Yeah.
I'm with you on Kuminga. Kuminga only got 4 minutes in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. This is a guy that you should be playing 30 minutes a night. He's got
Yes.
to get 30 minutes a night. Now, to
Yes.
me, the adjustment that I want to see from game one, because if there was one thing that I noticed in game one that I think there's an adjustment to be made, is how Mike Brown knows Steph Curry and he knows Klay Thompson, and he knows that they've got unbelievable range,
Yeah.
and he also knows that they don't really like to be hounded well beyond the 3-point line. They don't like to be crowded. Steph doesn't want to beat you off the dribble. Klay doesn't want to beat you off the dribble. They want to shoot over the top. So, you're doing them a favor if you sag off of them, and especially if you sag off of them anywhere around the 3-point line. But even if you sag off and give them the deep three, they'd rather take the deep, non-contested three
Yeah.
over putting it on the deck. So Mike Brown knows that. So he had their guards extended way outside. They were guarding Klay and Steph 23, 24, 25 feet away from the bucket. And the Warriors never countered. Now,
No.
here is the counter from my perspective. You put Draymond Green at the top of the key, you throw him the ball, he pivots, he looks, he makes a quick decision, and he goes. He either puts it on the deck himself and goes to the hole, and he's got a one-on-one drive against his defender, but more importantly, or maybe more a higher priority, put Wiggins and Kuminga in there, your two
Yes.
best athletic long finishers, and let Green find them on cuts to the hole or on alley-oop jams. If you throw it to if you break Sacramento down by, if they want to extend their guards out to 25 feet, then duck in behind them with Draymond. Now you've got the best passing creative big man there is in the league, and play him with Kuminga and Wiggins, and let those guys play a 3-on-2 or a 3-on-3 and just attack the hole from there. That's what I want to see. I couldn't believe that they didn't make the adjustment. If Sacramento's going to give you that kind of real estate and that kind of
Yeah.
room, that means that the pass from Steph or Klay to Draymond is a relatively easy, almost uncontested pass in the middle of an empty space. Great. And then you trust him to make the play. If he finds Kuminga, he finds Kuminga. Throws an alley-oop to Wiggins, he throws an alley-oop to Wiggins. If they're both covered, he fakes the pass, he pounds a dribble, he throws a floater, and you got two guys right there in two young, athletic, rebounding wings who are right there in rebounding position if they don't get the ball, or they've got a chance to finish. Those are your two best athletic long finishers.
Yeah.
That is the obvious counter to what Sacramento did. We never saw that for the most part in game one. We need to see that in game two. That's the adjustment that I need Steve to make. Give me yours. Give me yours.
No,
And maybe
yeah, you're basically asking for Draymond Green, the point guard, which
right.
we used to see a lot more. I've noticed that too. I've been thinking about that a lot this year, in that we don't see Draymond at the top of the paint nearly as much as we used to offensively. And I don't know if that's by design. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know what the reason is for that. That's a great point that you brought up. I've thought about that a lot too. So that, yes, that is an absolute adjustment that the Warriors could make, largely because Draymond Green, despite the fact that teams treat him like he's a liability offensively, he's not a liability offensively. And in fact, his 3-point shot actually was a lot better this year, where you didn't mind him taking it so much. But I would love that adjustment because, and just to add to that, Mike Brown came into this game and he used a zone defense with the box and one a lot. He used the box and one on Steph, which is what makes Steph's 30 points all the more impressive, because the Kings basically had two players defending Steph and following him wherever he went for most of the game. And you're right, and the Warriors did nothing. That's one of many examples of why I thought Mike Brown easily outcoached Steve Kerr. What I'd like to see is more Gary Payne II minutes. Gary Payne II has to be your counter to De'Aaron Fox, has to be. And he was treated as such last year. For some reason, he's not being treated as such, at least in game one. But also, I need to see an adjustment with size. like when I saw the starting lineup, and look, in all likelihood, Wiggins will be in the starting lineup for game 2, which will help because Dante DiVincenzo was basically the small forward and he's 6'4". And Wiggins is 6'7", but he's proven he's a solid 6'7". He's a rebounding machine, especially when he tries. But the adjustment, in my opinion, has to be getting a little bigger and using the personnel on your roster to do so. Because what routinely, like for example, the starting lineup with the Warriors last night, you had Stephen Curry at 6'3". Klay Thompson's your second big out there at 6'7" as your shooting guard. DiVincenzo's 6'4". Draymond's 6'5". I mean, 6'6" with shoes on. And then Kevon Looney's your one true center on the roster at 6'9". But that's not that big. I mean, especially when you look at like what other teams are countering with. And then your bench is Jordan Poole at 6'4". Gary Payne II is 6'3". Excuse me. I'm forgetting a name for another player that came off the bench. It was
Wiggins, Kuminga, Peyton, and Moody. Or Peyton and Poole.
Oh, yeah, Wiggins came off the bench, so he brought a little size, yeah. And then Kuminga, who's like your only big coming off the bench, and he gets 9 minutes, 45 seconds. The Warriors are small out there. I know Steve Kerr is in love with this, and he loves a small ball lineup because of the spacing it provides, because it's faster than the opposition. So in his mind, he's thinking with the small ball lineup, ultimately, when you're going possession by possession, you win out with your small ball because you're going to win the offensive possessions more often. But that's not always the case. And in a series like this, when the Kings are also athletic, when the Kings their small ball lineup is still much bigger than yours. So they're muscling you for rebounds. They're making life more difficult in terms of attacking the paint. The adjustment I desperately want to see the Warriors do is utilize the size of the bench, whether that means Kuminga getting more minutes, whether that means JaMychal Green getting some minutes. If you're going to have Alex Len in the game, counter that with JaMychal Green. I mean, that you're not Alex Len is not going to burn JaMychal Green. That is a fair, even match, if not an advantage to the Warriors. And Moses Moody. I mean, this is someone who started 3 games of the Western Conference Finals last year for the Warriors against the Mavericks, and now he's persona non grata again. He's getting DNP'd in a series where, his 7'1" wingspan could make things a little more difficult if he's simply just, raising his arms and his hands. I mean, that immediately makes it harder for a shooter. Never mind the fact that those arms can block off passing lanes. Never mind the fact that they can grab rebounds. So that's the adjustment I want to see. I'm with you in terms of schematics for the offense. Yes. Involve Draymond Green more as a facilitator, involve him more in that point guard role. But also, I just hope that Steve Kerr utilizes the size that he does have. I mean, I know you and I will both agree it's impossible to even imagine Patrick Baldwin Jr. getting minutes in this series or in any series. But last year, Kerr had the balls to play 2 of his rookies, and Patrick Baldwin Jr. is a rookie. So why not give him a little run here and there? It's just, the small ball thing, I feel like if Kerr doesn't adjust that, it's going to burn the Warriors, and they're not going to repeat. So that's the adjustment I'd like to see.
I'll give you one more adjustment. If
Please.
you look at the rebound, Sacramento was +9. If you look deeper, you see that they beat Golden State on the offensive glass. But if you look even deeper than that, what you realize is that the Warriors starters and the Kings starters battled to an absolute even rebounding total. It was Sacramento's bench that out-rebounded the Warrior bench 17-8. They were +9. The one thing that was absolutely a key factor in the Warriors' run last year was Wiggins' ability to rebound. If I'm Steve, the 3 guys that I want to talk to today about Game 2 are Kuminga, Wiggins, and Peyton.
Yeah.
Those 3 guys have to rebound. They combined to play for 58 minutes, and they wound up combined with 7 rebounds. Kuminga had none. Wiggins had 3. Gary Payton had 4. I like the idea of going smaller and faster. I think that's where their advantage is. As much as I like the idea of putting more size out there, that size comes with inexperience or limits. So Green, Baldwin, Moody, Lamb, I understand why their DNP coach's decision. I'm okay with going with the other 4 guys, Kuminga, Wiggins, Peyton, and Poole. But you know what it means? It means that Kuminga and Wiggins and Peyton have to rebound the basketball. So if I was Kerr, I would say to those guys, We need you three guys to rebound like your life depended on it. We need
Yeah.
one of you guys to pull 10 rebounds. We need somebody else to pull 8. You guys, we need you three guys, Kuminga, Wiggins, and Peyton, to go to the glass and rebound the basketball. And maybe that means you got to rebound out of your area, and maybe that means you may have to go over the top and take a chance on committing a foul. Maybe you have to, peel off your man a little quicker when the ball comes off the guy's hand, looking for that rebound. Maybe that means you got to gather some of the deep rebounds that fall in the middle of the floor, and you got to be looking for them and quicker to the ball.
Yeah.
But to me, Kuminga, Wiggins, and Peyton have to rebound for this team to really be able to have the kind of success on the glass that they need to have to win the series.
I agree. With the Kuminga thing, that's been he has a lot of games like this where his rebounding numbers are kind of disappointing. Usually, it's not always the case. I don't know if I didn't really pay close enough attention tonight or last night to how he played individually in that regard, but he's usually like defending perimeter players, and that's a huge reason why he's not grabbing rebounds. But you're right. I just wish he'd play more. It's just hard to do anything in 9 minutes of play. But I agree, man. I really hope Gary Payton II plays more. Just because even though he's 6'3", he's like, what's the nickname for him? The biggest little man in the NBA or something like that. Like he plays much larger than his size. And you're right. Would you agree with me, Larry? Like again, like on Locked On Warriors today, I said if the Warriors lose game 2, my fingers officially for the first time since I started hosting that show, for the first time since I've been doing any media work, because I really wasn't heavily involved in the first 3 championships. I was mostly in academia. This might be the first time since I've been working in the media where I will press a panic button, because there was no button to press in 2020 or 2021. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Are you pressing a panic button if the Warriors lose game 2, or are you still feeling okay?
No, I'm not. I'm okay. To me, I could see, and I heard Michael Wilbon say this, and I can, the more I thought about it, the more I thought, you know what? That sounds so NBA, but it's so spot on. He said he could picture the Kings winning games 1 and 2 at home, the Warriors winning games 3 and 4 at Chase, the Kings winning game 5 at Golden 1, the Warriors winning game 6 at Chase, and then the Warriors going to Golden 1 and winning game 7 on the road at Golden 1. And you know what? I absolutely could see it as well.
Wow.
I absolutely could see it as well. The Warriors can win Game 7 on the road. I can easily see it happening.
Especially since,
I just think that the experience, and the Golden State can fire. Was the crowd, very pro King? Yeah, it was amazing how they kept the Warrior fans out of there. I don't know how they did it, but the Warriors were not intimidated by the crowd. They just didn't win. Yeah, they didn't win. Their shots didn't fall. The Warriors weren't intimidated by that crowd at all. And I don't think they're ever going to be intimidated by any of these crowds.
Probably.
And I just think that, it comes right down to it. I could see it going 7. I could see the league wanting it to go 7. I think the Kings could, I could see the Warriors. I could see the Kings winning game 2 and going back for game 3 and having a great chance to win game 3, only to see the Warriors win it, take back the momentum, win game 4 more convincingly, and still wind up, winning the series. They have to win 1 in Sacramento, but I think they can win game 2. I think they could win game 5, and I think they could win game 7. So they got 3 games. They only got to really win 1 as long as they can win out at home. And I think, I will not be losing my S if the Warriors lose game 2. I will go crazy if they lose game 3 after losing game 2. If they go down 0-3, if they go down 0-3, then it's that's all she wrote. But 0-2, no, because why panic at that point? You got 2 more coming at home. You got a gaudy regular season record at home. You're the defending champs. You got all the experience, all the poise. Not sweating it if Sacramento wins game 2.
Here's why I will. So Wilbon thinks the home teams will win the first 6 games, and then
Warriors win game 7 on the road.
So here's why
almost as if somebody from the league handed him the script.
Well, that's first of all, under that premise, that's a very conspiracy theory premise, because you're basically insinuating that the NBA is controlling these games and the NBA is more like pro wrestling.
I don't know if
I
it's
have
that,
to.
but I think it's in their best interest to see a good series go long. I'm not
True,
saying there's
true.
any shenanigans. I just think that that's the way potentially it could go. And also, I just think, Sacramento fans are going to they're already getting really verbal and antagonistic after game one.
They're
I think
cocky,
they're going
man.
to get
Yeah.
incredibly verbal and incredibly antagonistic after their 2-0 lead. And then eventually, it's gonna come home to roost, and the Warrior fans are. I mean, I just don't see Sacramento moving on. I will say this: I do think that either of these teams could represent the West in the
Yeah,
finals. I really
possible.
believe that. But I think it's going to be Golden State winning in 7. Now,
Yeah,
the
if
more I look at it,
Sacramento
I mean, I
wins,
picked Golden State in 5, but I'll take Golden State in 7.
yeah. Well, game one, I think it changed a lot of people's perspectives. If first of all, if Sacramento comes out of the series, I could easily see them making the NBA Finals. I mean, they looked good last night. They look like a legitimate team. I mean, they always did, but it's hard to judge a team until you see them in the postseason. They look good. Here's why I will hit the panic button after game if the Warriors lose game two. The Warriors, throughout this entire dynasty, this has been easily. I don't think it's even up for debate. This has easily been like the most downtrodden year. This has been the most disappointing year. This has been the most. So many things went wrong in this regular season that for people to say that the Warriors will still win the world championship, myself included, unless they win game two, unless they lose game two, then I'm reevaluating everything. But you're basing all of these, the premise of all these arguments on the Warriors' experience and them having this metaphorical switch that they can turn on. And there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, look, the Warriors played the Kings tough and great in game one. I mean, they barely lost. If Wiggins makes that shot, the Wiggins shot, by the way, just to add to that, you're only down one. All you have to do is dribble and attack the paint. And either you have a wide, clear lane to the basket, or if they all suddenly gang up on you, someone's going to cut and you have an easy pass for 2 points and you still take the lead. So Wiggins screwed that up as well. There was just no need to take that dumb 3-point shot, especially when you're already 1 for 7. But I digress. But the reason why losing game two would freak me out is because this was a crazy year. This was a nonsensical year. This was the first time we saw division between coaches and front office, really division of any regard. I mean, you look at the punches, you look at the personnel decision, you look at the minute distribution, and the road woes of this team, which were largely inexplicable. If they lose game two, I'm starting to believe there's something there with the road thing. Like I was able to shut that down, shut that voice out for the most part, but if they lose game two, it makes me wonder if that's even going to creep into their own damn heads, if whether or not they can win games on the road. And then there's the bigger question that leads into it. If they lose game two, I mean, there is a possibility this team might just be done. I mean, let me ask you this: like when you were watching game one, did the Warriors look to you like convincingly like the better team?
Um, no, no,
Yeah,
they
me
didn't.
neither. Me
They
neither, man.
didn't.
And that's the first time I've ever thought that in this entire dynasty when I've seen them play in a postseason game. Now that could change, I think, a lot if Kerr starts using some ingenuity in his decision making, including playing Kuminga more, maybe getting a little more size out there, maybe following on what you said about Wiggins. But I don't know. I just don't know if this team. I'm starting to wonder if what we saw in the regular season is if there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, there's only one other team ever that's been a 6 seed that's proceeded to win a title, and that was the 95 Rockets. The Warriors could do that. But this team could also be done, man. I'm freaking out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Game two to me is massively huge. Um,
One sequence that I thought was the key sequence in the game. Curry hits a deep three. Malik Monk drives and scores off glass. There's about 6:30 left in the game.
yeah,
It's 105-105. Golden State comes down. Wiggins misses a three. Golden State, I think it was Looney, I forget who it was, but somebody got the offensive rebound, cycled it back out, and it gets to Kuminga. And he's sitting there, middle of the floor. There's only one guy, between him and the bucket. And he, instead of putting it on the deck and attacking the goal, he just thought, well, the guy's giving me a lot of room. He's playing off me. I'll hoist a three. He
And he
hoisted a
missed.
three, and he
And he
missed.
missed. Yeah.
And to me, right there, that just felt like the momentum shift right there. From that point on, I don't know that Golden State ever got a call. From that point on, they just looked a little bit off. I thought that was a key
That's fair.
sequence. You got two looks at two threes, and the second one, I don't think Kuminga should have shot. I think he should have just put it on the deck and went to the hole. I think he's an unstoppable guy going to the bucket.
Yeah.
One stat to remember: since 2013, the Warriors, following a playoff loss, are 30-10.
Oh,
That's the
beautiful.
highest winning percentage after a loss in that span. So odds are they win game 2 Monday night in Sacramento. But
And I
even
wanna
if they
add real
do,
quick-
even if
and
they
real-
do, I'm
Yeah.
not going to panic.
No,
Even if they
yeah,
don't
and-
win. Even if they don't win.
I will panic, but I also will say this, just so it's not all doom and gloom. I am insanely confident. Like if FanDuel or one of these things were legal here in California, I would put the house down that I think the Warriors will take care of business in game 2. I think they're going to win. That's also why if they lose, instinctually, at least in terms of my intuition, man, it's just alarms are going to be blaring everywhere about this Warriors team. But I'm with you, dude. I think they're going to win game 2 and still take care of business. It's just hard to picture of all the teams to end this run. No disrespect to the Sacramento Kings. And how does your brother, by the way? Did your brother rub it in your face? How did that go?
No, he's
Okay, good.
he's picking his spots. He knows
All
it's
right.
he knows it's early. He knows it's early. He's not, I haven't gotten the light the beam text yet. You know what I mean? But once they get to game 4, once they get deeper and they're looking for their third and fourth win, I have a feeling he's going to start. He's going to start boasting.
Or game 2 if they win. I guarantee you'll hear from your brother if the Kings win game 2.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
positive.
Don't want that to happen. So good stuff, man. Thanks.
Love you, brother.